Hello and welcome to John's Author Diary for the weekend in March the 22nd, 2020. Well, this week's been interesting. I don't know about you, but it feels like 3 months worth of stuff has compressed into a week. I hope you're safe. I hope you're not taking any unnecessary risks that will help to spread the Wuhan flu, coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it. In our household, it seemed like everything flipped on Wednesday. So Monday just felt like a normal day. Got on with my writing, got on with my planning. Everything seemed great. On Tuesday, my wife was off work, and so we'd actually booked into a spa. We went and enjoyed steam rooms and saunas and that kind of thing. And then after that, we went and did some shopping. So we saw that the supermarkets were getting a bit crazy. I mean, I mentioned a few weeks ago that we have stocked up. We stocked up at the end of February. We've got a few weeks' worth of tins and pasta and rice and frozen things. But of course, there was a run on toilet rolls. Seems that people were really scared that they wouldn't be able to wipe their bottoms. There was no toilet rolls in the shops. And so this is a bit of a tip if you're living in the UK and you happen to have a farm shop near you. We went to a farm shop in Lancaster after seeing just how crazy the supermarkets were. We were in and out in about 15 minutes. We bought some meat, got some pork and some mince, got some local honey, some beef burgers, big bag of potatoes. It wasn't the craziness that we are seeing in the supermarkets, so there you go, top tip, check out your local farm shops. Hopefully they'll still have fresh produce. They won't be insane, and you'll probably feel a little calmer coming out than you would trying to traipse around a supermarket. So on Tuesday evening, my wife's school announced that they were closing. They were keeping all staff and students off. And there was also the advice that people with asthma should self-isolate. So my son has asthma, so we have kept him home since Wednesday. We've been homeschooling him. My wife was exposed to potentially 3 or 4 people who have the virus while she was at school. One of them actually coughed near her last Thursday at parents' evening. She's self-isolating for 2 weeks. Obviously that means that I am too, and so is my son. So we're taking it from the Wednesday just gone until 2 weeks after that, and then we'll see where the world is from there. In terms of the actual new stuff, there has been some really interesting developments. I think it's just a great case of human ingenuity coming together. The greatest minds on the planet all focused on one problem. We've never had anything like this before in our history. So I think of things like the Manhattan Project, which was the greatest minds focused on a particular problem. But this time we have got better connectivity. We've got more people working in the open. We've got ideas going backwards and forwards between different people. If a good idea is out there, it gets to the right people. And that's fantastic. That's really helpful. There's some anti-malarial drugs that look helpful. There's a vaccine in the works. There's going to be short-term disruption, short-term pain, but we will get past this. And I think what it's done is it's brought people together. Granted, they should probably stand 6 feet apart when they do it, but hopefully what it will mean is a bit of a radical shift in terms of the way people have been behaving, a shift away from the tribalism, the politicisation of everything. Hopefully people will realise what is important and prioritise their families, their communities, and just look out for each other a bit more. It's really important. Now, what I found myself doing this week, which is a bit of a bad habit, I need to get out of it, is the check-in of the news. I haven't read any books this week because I've been listening to podcasts, I've been reading the news, and I need to get back into reading. It's difficult to concentrate on a book when there's so much going on. I would especially recommend people in the UK try to find a different way to consume the news if you're doing it on your phone and you're looking at the BBC News website. Because, you know, BBC do a 6 o'clock news podcast. Listen to that. The reason I say this is because when you listen to it in a progressive, linear way, your mind has time to process what you're listening to. When you see the headlines on the front of the BBC News app, when you look at it in your browser, it's just a barrage of terrible headlines, a list of all the things that are going wrong, hitting you at once. Perfect way to give you swelling amygdalas, perfect way to give you anxiety. So consider doing that. I would highly recommend it just for your sanity, just for your mental health. And I do recommend audio over visual because a lot of the footage that you will see will have quick cuts, will be done in an urgent way, will have panic, scenes of people ill, dying, hospitals empty shelves. It will look like an apocalyptic movie. You don't need to watch it. Step back, move away, maybe limit yourself to one podcast a day, something like that, so you can keep up, so you know what's happening. but at the same time, you're not letting it engulf you, because you do need to stay strong. You do need to help those around you who maybe aren't in such a good position as yourself. So getting on to the writing, yes, that's something I did this week. And yeah, it was difficult. I was doing it around my son's homeschooling and all the craziness that was going on. But I'm halfway through my first draft of The Devil. Now, my usual process is I plan and write an outline. I dictate the first draft, rewrite it for the second draft, do the line edits for the third draft, and then it gets edited, proofread. That's my usual process. Because I'm probably self-conscious, or I just can't get into that right zone, I can't dictate in front of people. So what I've ended up doing is treating my outline as a first draft, and then I've been writing with the keyboard. And it does feel like a second draft. It doesn't look like a first draft. And I'm wondering whether I am actually wasting my time dictating. And I've got into a really good groove with dictating. I really like doing it. And there are health benefits in terms of my wrists, my fingers, eye strain, that kind of thing. It's something I need to consider, because actually the stuff I've been writing feels like a second draft. It might be more efficient. It might mean I can take longer breaks. So I'm going to work like this for the foreseeable future until this quarantine kind of stuff has gone. You know, do track, do measure what I'm doing. So I'll see whether this could be a new way of working. Maybe I'll just dictate my outlines. I don't know. We'll see. Last week I mentioned that I had an eye appointment booked on the 30th of March. They sent me another one as well for the 20th. They've both been cancelled, so I don't know when they will be. And I also had some really good responses last week, because I mentioned that I needed your ideas to raise money for these Oxsight glasses. Now I'm going to pull away from this slightly just because of everything that's going on. There's no point in doing a fundraiser when, okay, the money, the resources, the thoughts need to go into beating this virus. But when it's over, the ideas I've got have been things like setting up a Kickstarter where I'm selling exclusive stories, maybe artwork, maybe paperback versions or hardback versions of the Ravenglass Chronicles, things like that I can use to fund these classes. Someone has also suggested making merchandise, so selling T-shirts with, I suppose, generic fantasy phrases on and things like that. So that's another idea. There's also the idea of simply asking people to share my books. That's the one that's got the least amount of friction in terms of people buying, in terms of getting involved. So I might just ask, okay, people, can you please share this link to my newsletter, share it on your Facebook. I will give them an affiliate link as well, so that when people make purchases, I actually get a kickback as well from Amazon Associates. And I've also been told that there's a potential that I can get these glasses through the government's Access to Work scheme, which is a scheme apparently for people with disabilities. I didn't know that you could get it as someone who's self-employed, so I'm going to see what it is they offer. And if I can get these glasses, that's great. I'm going to leave it there now. Keep safe. Read some books, learn a new skill, do some writing, see it as an opportunity, not as you being imprisoned or something like that. So, until next time, cheerio.